space, and as a result, they're going to struggle to get themselves out of the capsule. It's actually kind of dangerous. So they're going to be helped. So these astronauts who went up as marathon runners, the elite of the elite in terms of fitness, are going to have to be helped almost like an aged care kind of experience now,
Alan,
out of the capsule and into the spacecraft.
we're just going to listen to the commentary now as they explain what's happening.
Hypergolic fuel, which is necessary for on-orbit burns to maneuver the spacecraft. Unfortunately, those hypergolics are unable to be breathed. They are toxic, and so this team here is doing those initial safety checks to make sure that it is safe for the rest of the recovery team to approach the spacecraft. They're also checking to make sure that any residuals from the pyros are safe and are not going to cause any issues. We can see the team working their way around the spacecraft to do these basically these sniff tests on all of those Draco thrusters.
About 30 years ago, I was on tour and I noticed a small lump. 6 months later, it's this size.
Oh, he's got a neck now.
Oh yeah, plastic lifetime.
Yeah. 30 years later, it's still the same size.
13 years he's had that. Warren's been living on the press since 94.
I want to get this lump removed now because there's a record label that wants me to go back on tour.
Who wants you to go and do it, Jerry? You're just about dead.
I don't know whether this is a sister or like, hold on a second, yeah. There's a little teeth.
It's a cyst. Oh, you know what that means?
You haven't shopped
Bum,
around
bum, bum,
until
bum.
you tried Yui.
How about us? Ding, 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 ding.
These sniff tests on all of those Draco thrusters.
And as we continue to await the recovery of our Dragon spacecraft with NASA astronauts Nick Hague, Sunny Williams, Butch Wilmore, and Roscosmos cosmonaut.
Go automatic. That's what I'm feeling today. Instead of picking. What would this mean as it popped up?
You want to go to?
Check it out if you want.
Like you could be, you're not with the dumb shit. You're not with
I was
the
curious.
third parties. You're not with the childish games. You're not. That's why your life is just such.
What's going on in the background?
That's why you're able to have a luxurious lifestyle, and
Oh.
your pockets are full. Divine.
That's why they stopped playing their
You're
games.
not playing no games. No.
Oh, they're coming back.
This person knows that about you, and he
Alright.
admires that. This is like somebody that don't want to knock you
See what I usually do.
down the side because you do good for yourself. This person admire that. Like, that's what's up. Shit, it need to be more women out there like that. It needs to be, and somebody dealing with like a trauma bonded, emotionally abusive relationship that's causing a lot of hurt.
Yeah, I've talked about things like that. This was from years ago. Check this thing out.
Be careful what you have kids with. Yeah, I'm telling you. This person is thinking about you. Daydreaming about you. Her. She's just actually trying to get in your energy. But since she can't attack you, she's trying to affect
You could be
him.
trying to do that in my story, AB. It's going on right now.
But he is. It's weird.
It's weird, isn't it? Gotta shut up now.
I cannot make it the
You gotta be careful about you talk about, because look,
She feel trapped. He feel trapped with this false
when you
twin.
talk to the demon, it comes back. So you go, good, you're actually doing good, and it goes, no, you can't tell me, no, and it comes back.
With this false
Actually, I know
twin,
someone
he
locally who
got
does that.
control because of the-
I've
this
actually
person
even
is
told him
fighting
that,
over you.
and then I've seen him come back. Oh.
They want to knock you down the sides. That's why this person is divorcing this
Right, and that's how the bad guys think. They're going, shit, is he trying to... But if they doing righteous, who was the wrong? Right? Only they know. Right? And then they come back again. Bullies do it over and over again. They're cocky as. And then as soon as you try to tell them that you get the good advice and they learn it, and if other people see it, bullies, definitely the stupid ones, they prefer not to change. So they'll say, perhaps move the vehicle, and go, okay, I'll move it. And then you go, oh, good, thanks for doing that. That was a good choice, as I've told someone locally here. Right? And then next minute, they put it back. You go, oh. Sometimes they have friend advice like this. You know what I mean?
Somebody said something here. They was
But
like,
anyway,
this bitch was
that's
trying to
why I'd
copy
say
this style
these
of
certain
shit.
areas you can't
Like,
communicate with
so
them,
how
like
she
they're not allowing me to
something
communicate.
about you.
Alright,
High vibrational energy.
cut it out.
And she
I
wanna
have
be
to
you.
step in
Ain't
with
that
some my
something?
energies.
So
They
now
just
she
like to
feels like
use,
she
you know,
believes she's
the
being
devil's
ignored.
energies, they say. What would you call that? What I was just showing. You can say it's luck. It happens a lot. Right? You can say you got a lot of luck.
Something like that.
But anyway,
To make this man
I got a whole story about they wouldn't want you to know. As if you ever read the Bible, it tells you about these creatures not allowing you to see or figure it out. They'll speak and do all sorts of things. The main trick is to not let you be face to face.
This is
Yeah?
ridiculous.
In that. In that. Now, what did I say about when they knew that I'll speak something? Does it make sense? How some clips make sense and some don't? Maybe it wasn't the right time. Alright.
Okay.
Keep listening for a sec.
I don't know why women think men like a man. You're not talking about a boy here. A man don't think it's cute for that type of competition.
Nah.
Like he like secure women.
You know what the monkeys think out there what a man is? He's got to be hairy. He's got to be big. He's got to be strong. Right? And he's got to have some sort of sense of protection. You got to make him feel like they're safe. A lot of guns, big guns. That's a man in the Earth planet. But that actually is not a definition of a man, really. Right. A man can be a lot more. Man doesn't have to be. A woman can be a lot more. A woman doesn't have to. Right? But they can slot themselves in certain slots if they want. No. But it doesn't matter if they do all these kind of things. Hey, people. So how does the Australian government clear this out, Australia? What do you reckon? Correction? What do you reckon, police officers? I know we're creeping into that area. I know you like to keep things secret. But how much secrets do you need? Perhaps I can have some better things than hints. Because when everything gives hints in all ways, but you only get one direction, you don't go with hints anymore. Right? And you can know that someone might be helping you, but then they're not looking at that moment. And they never turn up as you scream for help. Right? And when they do actions you wouldn't expect. So in the end, you don't trust or worry about them. Right? And what their belief or what they want done. In fact, I can show them a way that can get it done even quicker, but they wouldn't want to know. What do you mean by that? It's like teaching someone like Emma. Emma does the dishes differently. I've told Emma many of times, and I do dishes quicker now. But it's alright. Everyone does different things, and it happens in all sorts of brackets. Right? And I do the dishes a certain way, and it'd be quick and go, so why don't you do it like that? And they go, no, I'd rather just do it my way. Right? And it takes longer and all that. And I go, in the end, I go, alright, if someone tells you a way that's quicker, and you can do it, besides just going, okay, I'll be you. But I've been doing this for ages, that's alright. But you're being shamed, but you want to do it for ages that way. You can't complain that you take so long. So if you take an hour that takes 5 minutes, I showed you in 5 minutes how to do it, but you want to cruise, you want to do it this way, you want to take an hour, and so on. So be it, you can. But when you do that on every job that takes 5 minutes, so I showed you another way of vacuuming. You can do this instead of taking an hour. Right? But no, I want you. That's free will. You can do that. But when you say, I work all day because I put a load of washing on, did the dishes, and some vacuuming, right, and I do a lot, that's not a lot. Most people can get that done in an hour, half an hour. Depends on how you do things. Like when you go to put a load of washing on, you put it on at the start, right? Not afterwards, not the next step, right? Because then it takes longer and then you wait around and you think you're doing a chore, right? You put the washing machine on, you fill up the sink, right? And while that's soaking, if it hasn't soaked, right? And your washing machine's washing, you do the vacuuming, right? And then time it takes to do the vacuuming, you can come back to the other job and it's much easier. You're prepared, you see. And you can quickly do the dishes. In fact, sometimes you need to soak them twice, like the pots and pans. So what I usually do in my trick is I do the cups and knife and forks and all those things that you don't want to get grease on them, right? First, get that done on that part. Then I chuck in the pots and pans and get them soaking. Why? By that time, if you only got a 15-minute cycle to 20 to 40 minutes, right? Sometimes it can take 40 minutes from the house, vacuum. Definitely our house, my house here, that I need to clean up bird feathers everywhere and stuff. So I've got to vacuum at least twice a day. Definitely with 6 fibrosis. I try to do my best in that area and get no help, so I do my best. And so while that happened, you go get the washing and you hang out the washing. Right? You can maybe chuck on another load, do another load, rather. After that, while that's doing that, you come back in and then you do your pots and pans and wipe down your cupboards and around your kitchen and shit. And then you notice once you finish that, you can go grab the other load of washing and then hang that out. And voila, you can do that in an hour. I've seen some people take half a day, all day. And that's fine. You can do that while you're doing on the phone. You can chuck all this in too. I do that too. I usually be doing some comments. So chucking some me on my phone. Might even chuck a video while I'm doing it. Perhaps now while I'm doing something else. You can do many things at once. In fact, the more you can do at once, the more you would advance and succeed. The more you can get things done without speaking so much. Blah, 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 blah. See, people that have to speak so much to get something done or an answer means they're way back. They've got a lot of problems. Creatures that can speak less, even mine, think, people that go, oh, yeah, I can read my mind. Yeah, all your connections like that can get things done fast. So they're the type of leaders you actually want to get in. They work together, don't envy and greed. They know where they are. They're in the position where they are and the time they are. They're all taking turns. They work together. Instead of a society of bullies and going, oh, well, you're an asshole. What you see at high school. But we see it in real life. And then we actually see at high school that it gets done right, because teachers make it. Because there's no one to make them, obviously, you see. Who governs to make them right? And if they get out of line to go, that's it, you're all out in the new team. Or they're half out. Who really does that? And if they are, where is that person? What's going on? I can go back and question time and say where this person should have jumped in ages ago. Right? Sort out this circle. Halfway through that at least. Look at this, 20 years of it here. 10 years ago. After 10 years, where's this dude? Where's this group? They're turning into children. How are we going to stop our government from being like children? Having worse debates than the kids at high school about how to be when you're meant to go in there. But then they struggle to be it. They struggle to connect. They all want his job and their job. Fuck you and all this kind of stuff. Pretty shocking, eh? But that's how it rolls, people. That's how it rolls, eh, babies? Now the energy's cleared off. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Some people can you hear it? Can you see it? But now, let's get back to this for a second. And I'm going to finish up there.
That's what I'm
Do a
hearing.
little forward skip in a second.
Who she thought you was? I don't know who this person thought you was, but they messed up. Death is on her ass.
Death is on their ass, people. Alright, let's just skip this stuff.
Ain't carried away.
I like to talk things that I actually got
This is for the
back up, or I'll tell you it's not.
of what they got.
And you can just ask me, and I got it. You can get it. Alright. If I like you, no. Depends on how far I want to go. But it won't be for years.
They're ready to sue this person because
Right.
the people that work together with them, how you gonna sue them? That don't make sense.
If you ever got revenge, or you want to get back at people, in most cases too, suing's usually not the main thing. It's getting less and less likely these days. People are dealing with them themselves. Here in Australia now, people are going and getting their cars back because cops can't get it. So there's just news footage of someone getting stabbed because they went and got their car back and they end up beating up the wrong people. It wasn't really the one. They probably sold it to someone or whatever. They said might not be the people, but they certainly had the car and had a reason to go there, and they sorted it out themselves. And you know why they did that? Otherwise, they would never get a car. Cops would just go, in the file over there, in the file over there, in the file over there. We are so overwhelmed. It's in the file over there. If you don't happen in the first 24 hours, get lucky. People call us, do our job for us. Otherwise, it's in the book over there. And let's get in our car and go get some lines. Oh, we've got a piece of paper from yes sir ma'am. It says to go do this. That's what they mainly are. That's one of their features. Right? The automatic kind of thing. But they're meant to be something themselves. They're meant to help create what it's meant to be because they're the children of the school. Right? You get it? It depends on how you look at things, but that's how I see it. And they screw up really bad. Right? And if they're in a bad school with a bad principal, they're going to have bad kids, aren't they? And that's how we see things. And they're going to have people who are overwhelmed and don't know what to do. And then they end up telling news they're all the bad. Like in the debates over at the colleges when they're just protesting and stuff like that, right? Nothing too major. But then when the police want to speak to you and you go, no, hang on, come back tomorrow, they go, no. I've had that violence as well. That exact type of violence where I go, there's a sign, there's information there. Nothing, no one's gotten hurt. In fact, people have already previously got hurt. Why are we in this incident now? But you don't have to carry on, right? But they don't. And then you go, I'll see you later. Free will. See you soon. In fact, if you think I'm so wrong, you can come back and find me a bigger fine if I'm snobbing you and I'm not talking the truth. Do that. That's righteous. But I'll see you soon. This is what I'm doing. Like a lawyer does. Everyone should have that right, right? Unless you've actually physically hurt someone. And yet, I actually did an incident where I got attacked, life and put out of my house, right? Because I'm trying to show a point of someone who actually physically hurt me. Isn't that right, Emma? And nearly killed me if Emma wasn't there. She had to plead for my life. Isn't that right, Emma? Shocking. And yet I'm the bad guy. You see? Sad. Cops might as well just go put it over there. In fact, I prefer that. But they go, hang on, the victim can be the bad guy. Because it talked about its file. It wanted its file to come back up. And we didn't care. We don't have time for that. We've got to get back on the road. Drink our coffee. Get the piece of paper. Put that other paper in there. Get people's quotes. Put it over there. Right? In fact, they do that so much, so often when I went in, there's thievery going on here all the time. There was a dude actually got his car stolen. And then when I got my paperwork, I get paperwork of someone's report of a car being stolen. Is that how you get rid of your evidence? That's the only paperwork? I did a video about it. I wanted to take it back ages ago, but I've had some issues myself where I fear certain things myself and don't want to be blamed on certain things. So I could talk about it. It wasn't an issue I caused or created. But I got someone's report of a stolen vehicle, right? Back to me with my paperwork. Must have got mixed in there, right? But whose fault is that? Is it my fault that I've got that report? Is it my fault that I'm talking about it and I can't get up there? Whose fault is it? You know what they like to do? They like to try to push it off if they could. They can, they will. They palm it on to you and go, well, you could have done this and this and that. Right? Yeah, you could. But, you know, if you go back further, if they just, this other area just did this, I wouldn't even have to worry about it. No one wants to think about that. That, to me, sounds pretty stupid, doesn't it, Emma? That no one wants to think about, you're going on about this in that moment, but you don't want to think about why these moments are happening. You say you do, but then you don't. In fact, if to find out, we've got to ring up and tell you who the criminal is, or go to court and sort out shit ourselves. Well, what do we need the police for? They're not here for us. They're here to get some fines, make sure we don't speed. These are the things that they can keep on doing while them are in the secondary. But these secondaries are actually more important for safety, aren't they, Emma? Huh. So who doesn't do their job properly? How many countries do you know that are failing in that area? And go check out their files. They say that they can't do things because they need more manpower and more money for more abilities. But you can use old technology, as they're talking about now. They're bringing out 2011 bulletproof vehicles. Bulletproof is bulletproof. 2011 or not. In fact, old technology is better than some of the new shit we get today. Built well, right? You just tweak it a bit. There's plenty of stuff there. In fact, they could have had old processors from the 90s that show really cool shit that they can work out with their servers. Hey, Emma, they were doing all this crap that they could have now that probably got thrown at the dump. They could have used that. That's a real fact. Those things got probably thrown out in dumps and stuff in there. And yet the coppers could have done that and done a whole bunch of cases. In fact, they could have done it with school kids, high school kids, and college kids. I can tell you a whole way of doing it. You're going, they could have? Yeah, there's a way of getting things done. Help out a little bit, as you ask. You want us to ring up, don't you? Right? But then you're going to want us to want to do that. What do you give us so we can give you? What do you make us feel? So we can feel for you. Because if you're doing the opposite, what are you doing then when you want things from us? You're pulling out the whip. You're ripping people out of their homes. You're shooting dogs. You're shooting people just to find out a question. It's like those people shoot first, ask questions later. Huh? It's crazy. And then you don't face up. That's the worst thing. It's not that bad learning. What you call learning is fucking up. Right? What you call stupid and being controlling or getting blackmailed or you end up doing it or getting away with shit is denying it. Not talking about it. In fact, trying to hide it. Huh? Some things are there for a reason, to show a reason. Sometimes when you fuck up because of someone else's already fuck up. Like when a kid comes into a kitchen and grabs that oven, a lot of dickheads would like to say, it's the kid's fault. In a way it is, isn't it? The kid come in and touched it, didn't it, Emma? But it's your responsibility, which is the government, the parent, to make sure that the kid doesn't fuck up. To show all the signs to make sure it doesn't happen. Definitely for the people who need it, for like disability. And we put on locks and we stop the kid from getting in there in the first place. Certain kids anyway, disability. Certain areas need more, others and different rules and attention, right? Like I talked about before, a lot of these people in these areas have a lot of time. And if you can get them to focus their time in certain areas, you could have a lot of employees that can be handy that you see people do today at home, talking on phones and working out cases, and yet they can walk around and be an athletic person, but they're sitting at a desk and then they go after work to the fucking gym. Pretty crazy, eh? So you got a person that goes to the gym, he could actually be a builder, he could be an army soldier, he could be more effective in other areas. Not saying he can choose that choice, that's up to him. But I bet you, if he went against a disabled person, he would have got in because of his charm and all these speeches about how great he is. You know what I mean? Yeah. And yet the disability person probably would be better at the job. In fact, in a lot of areas where it goes down like that, they aren't. But they never get in because they're not cool enough. Because when it rocks up, it depends on what shoes you're wearing and how you present yourself to when it comes to if you're actually best for the job first. So if you don't do that right, and some people can be really good at one job but fail at that. Geeks get really nervous, but yet they're good at work, aren't they, Emma? Yeah, but we look at it and I hear interviews all the time. Make sure you have this, man. It's like that with the court, with the judge. It's like, you know what the judge needs to know? He needs to know how to read faces and feelings and how people really talk after he looks at a case. That's what he needs to know. Huh? Gets that right, he'll become a good judge, a little bit like Judge Judy. I believe Judge Judy's one of my favourite judges that I've seen. There's a few, but Judge Judy, and I thought she was a bitch at first. Like I talk about when becoming friends with some people sometimes. You just got to get to know them. And then I realised as I got older too, because that's when I thought she was more of a bitch teenager. Oh, look at this bitch, she's psycho. Wouldn't want to be her mother. But now I get older, I go, I wish I was her mother. Right? And if I was a cunt to her, and you get older, you would realise yourself, a lot of people do, and you go, shit, maybe if I actually listened, she would have been right. Because she had a lot of wisdom to tell people. When it hurts, she gets in tight like Gordon does when he starts swearing. He wants things to hurt. Sometimes making it hurt makes them learn. If you try it every other way, you've been nice, and they're not learning, well, you got to make them hurt. You can physically hurt them, whip them, flick them in the ear, come on, get your shit together. Right? Or you can just use your voice. The voice is the lowest. And if people can't handle voices, right, when they do get hurt, they usually get hurt because it's true. Right? If it's not true, you can learn not to worry about that. And they'll feel like a fool later on when the truth comes out. But if you're in a world of lies, well, that all fails, doesn't it? Right? As they all dob on my and pick on you, as humans do in groups. Right? But sometimes you need to go, you fucking idiot, you completely fucking stupid. Because when you do something stupid, you are stupid. You know what I mean? We've got some cruisers out tonight. I'm not going to speak any more than that, but that's all I like to say. Right? Now, I see things not because I stalk, because I'm mainly in an area, as I've talked about, an office. Not all the time. It's maybe 50-50, depends on what I'm doing. Sometimes more than other, and then sometimes hardly at all. Huh? as it's a window. Right? When you stand around, you work and you talk and you look around, like I am now. I can look at TV, I can look at this, look at that. But I prefer to look at something that looks good, or you don't have to think about it too much. Or you might see something, which is looking out of a window when you're at a shop instead of the wall, as you look at things go by. And I see cameras a lot. They're right there for security. And people like to say that I stalk because I see certain things. Well, I'm seeing a lot more lately too, because of the problems of that stalking and attack and harassment and bullying, stuff like that. It makes you want to look a little bit more in that area. And my main area where I stand and be, unless I'm watching TV, which is not much lately, and pretty much in the kitchen, I can just turn around in a lot of cases, and I get luck in a lot of cases. So, as I've showed a clip before I went to have a shower, when someone stole from me, I had good time to actually see the stealing in progress. And could have approached it, but it was in my boxes and undershirt and getting ready for a shower. And then when that moment went down. But anyway, I thought I'd have a little blab about a few things, show you a few comments of a few people. Doesn't matter what the law has convicted, it does not mean it's true. In fact, these days, in a lot of people, more likely you would hear people going, I'm innocent, and more likely, more than ever today, than any time in time, except for the bad times in domination areas, you'll see more of that more likely, because that's exactly what's going down. We have people not speaking truths, tricking and deceiving, and bad things happening to get their outcomes. And usually the best way to do your outcome is to learn. As I was talking about before, learning means that you learn and you move on. When you learn something, learning the bad apple means you're learning something that you rather keep doing it till you get caught, right? Till you have to be forced. Then that's no good. And there's a few of them. They're in jail, right? Because they're people that just wouldn't take it. Some people had 100 opportunities, and some do 1,000 to change their mind. They had family, they had people, they had opportunities, and some people only had 3, and they're all the same. They're the same type of people in there. So some are in there because they had 1,000 opportunities, blew it. Some had 3, and they go, why do I only have 3? Some would say they're a tarot reader or something like that. It's your past life karma. Right? There's lots that you can try to focus your brain, but in the end, there's an answer to it that's logical. Just think of your own life and what can happen, and the chance and luck. You just had bad luck. The 3 dude one done bad luck, or he was in a corrupted area and he can figure that out, which can help him out. But other than that, it's true, and he got caught, like dude driving and drink and drive, you can get done the first night, right? Or you can get away with it 1,000 times. Some people do, right? Maybe they just blew getting away with it 1,000 times, and lucky no one got killed too, and blew all their good karma, and then boom, they get it now, and they're going to have bad karma for this life and maybe the next, right? Who knows? That's the afterlife thing, and we've got a long way to study that area to get the truth. But as long as it doesn't hurt people, or as long as you don't say it's only that way and not your way, and without using proper science and common sense of the education of today or in the now, then there's nothing to debate about. Everyone's different. But if there is something to say, and people can debate sciencely and have got answers by the things that we've created, like TVs, through these answers of logic and common sense, then more likely they're right. You need to change, or you stay the way you are and you go over there and we'll be over here. You can do those kind of things. And if you don't like the animal, leave it alone. That's the motto, until it affects you. When things affect you, you debate. If the debates fail, right, and you do all the right ways of righteousness, what yous know between yous, and hopefully you learn quick too. Learning quick's a good thing, right? Less debate, right? So you need more education, but sometimes you might run into a debate that you need to go get some education about, right? As you're debating all the time. If you're debating all the time, there's something going wrong. It's like restarting the same level, and you're running in, you're shooting that dude, and you go, I can do them all except that dude. It's just that dude. And then if it's not that dude, it's that dude over there. But maybe you just need a whole new strategy. You were fine, because I've been stuck like that in the game. Kept doing the same thing because I thought it was the right way, because it's nearly there. And then I found it was a complete, totally different strategy to approach to become a lot easier too. I will talk about those things one day. When it comes to games, like hand-to-hand combat in these games, you can have hardly any ammo. It's just a quick basic one there, everyone knows this one. But if you learn to know the characters and how they act and move and stuff, definitely if you have them on hard, I like to play my games on extremely hard as the game can make it, right? That's how I play them, and I learned that way, because otherwise you're not really getting through them, right? You can play easy, you get through it, but then you got to play it for real, and before you can say you've played that game for real, right? And you play it on the hardest you can get it to play. And when you do that, it can be very hard, where you can, some people go to play it, who's even had weeks of experience, would say that's extreme hard, on normal and average, right? Oh, you can't do that, you just die, I'm just walking over and you just die, you know? You get used to things. It's the way you play the game. You got to slow down. You got to do this, and you'll find that if you sneak up on things instead of going or throwing a grenade, and then it kills a lot of people here, but you end up, you can do other strategies and go quietly. Sometimes the ninja strategy works good, but you got to know your opponents to do those ninja strategies, and take a few risks and done it for a little bit. And because I've done that a lot when it comes to, I play the games. I'm usually, if you get stuck in a moment, it's usually, what is it, Emma? Tim, go do a ninja strategy, or I'll make Emma be the chicken. Then I, Emma. Yeah, I need bait sometimes a lot, and they work out a lot. Then sometimes it doesn't work out because the bait didn't do the right thing, and I have a little arguments about that. But yeah, I'm very good at setting people as bait, and the plan works out, they live. But if they don't do it right, they don't live. And I live. I always seem to live because I'm taking out something near the bait, you know what I mean? So I pull off what needs to be done, but then sometimes the bait dies because it doesn't do what I asked it to do. It thought it could do something else different, and then we have a debate. You know, that's actually life. That happens all the time. I thought it was a better plan, right? And stuff like that. And sometimes I am wrong. Right? I was not always right. I was just mostly right. Isn't that right, Em? And that's all you need to be. Right? And so when it comes to these areas, I'd run in to do something myself, or I'd have a bait. And usually a bait would help out a lot when it comes to people who go, look over there, she's run over there, she's shitting over there, I'm going to come in over there. But have a good one, and see you later.